It's the Cable
So the most Reanimator-y card here is Collective Brutality, but Mana Drain could fit really well in a Scarab God deck. So I'm going to take the Drain. Animate Dead, perfect. Beauty of a start here. Looking at Forced Negation, looking at Corpse Dance. I think we should just force the Archetype Hum. Rakdos Sack busted. Very similar to a deck that I trophied with earlier this season, but draws didn't line up. Opponents were doing good things. I had no flyers, Ramses. Would have been a very different game. We'd had flyers that whole time, huh? You just show up? Zeratol JF, thanks to the sub, thanks to 16 months. Gotta dig this tune. Nothing worth reanimating so far. Vendetta's a great card. Odawara is also a great card. So Odawara is nice. It just like fits in the mana base. And then it's like a late game card. Whereas Vendetta is this like nice, efficient early game card that prevents us from getting rolled over. I tend to draft the like efficient removal more early on, and then when I have it, I'll invest picks into the mana base. Wow, this pack, huh? Yeah, Lumog is not a bad one to reanimate. More so with Animate Dead than Corpse Dance, unless it would deck them, right? And then there's Necromancy, which is a premium reanimation spell, and Creeping Tar Pit, which I love, especially my Scarab God decks. So I'm going to take the Necromancy here, but there's certainly arguments for the Ulamog or the Tar Pit in this spot. Interesting. Yeah, Show and Tell is not a bad backup plan for a reanimation deck, but we don't currently have anything to reanimate, right? I think I'm just going to take Damnation. Give us a little bit more time to do the thing. Liliana's a nice discard outlet. Fact of Fiction also plays well in the control reanimator style of deck. I could see either of them. I think I should be cutting blue. So Liliana's like a classic reanimator card, but I think I should be cutting blue more. And Fact of Fiction's also a great reanimator card. Brutality Wield, good to see. Yeah, reanimator's open. Good time for a reanimator step. I think I'm doing well on reanimation effects, such that I don't need the Shallow Grave, but I don't want to send anybody like a weird signal. I actually want this Dimir Signet, but I'm going to take the Grave anyway. I've had people move in because they like see a late reanimation spell. They're like, oh, I could do that. I'd rather have somebody dip into my colors than dip into my archetype. Why did I decide to play Reanimator? It's a stipulation draft. Someone donated to incentivize me to draft either Scarab God or a Reanimator deck. So that's why we're in Blue-Black Reanimator. Kind of like a bonus challenge. So with Corpse Dance and Shallow Grave, you could consider being instant speed Reanimator and grab the Emrakul here. The trick then is having efficient discard outlets. It can take a lot more work. The 13 mana Emrakul is not a crazy thing to reanimate. It's a fucking 13/13. It does get answered by a bit more. It's a little bit less exciting. And then there's also Bloodstained Mire here as an option. Intuition can just like bin reanimation targets. Bitter Triumph is a discard outlet. Sheldock's great in Reanimator. I think I'm going to take the Emrakul. I'm going to see if I can make that work. Vamp Tutor's a great pickup. Reanimator is essentially a combo deck, right? Where you're trying to get Fatty plus discard outlet plus Reanimator spell. So the more tutors you have, the better. Pack Rat's an expensive one, but it is a discard outlet. I'm going to grab it here. I'm going to take... So Jace is a good card, obviously, but it's not essential to what we're trying to do. And currently we have no fixing whatsoever. So I'm going to grab this Zagoth Triome, and that'll help a little bit. World Gorger is not in the cube, correct? That is a correct assumption. I don't hate a Massacre Worm. Fine reanimation target that you can also just hardcast sometimes. Grizzlebrand, there we go. Grizzlebrand's another good one with Shallow Grave and Corpse Dance too, because you get that hasty hit in. You can just draw a bunch. I'm gonna grab Grizzlebrand here as a way of bidding fatties. Hey, Hunted Bronco. And there we go. There's the other half of the stip. Scarab God Reanimator, let's go. Oblong Osprey with the resub of the 37 months saying, oh shit, that's a Scarab God. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was just like, Yeah, intuition's not crazy, huh? I'm wondering if I'd actually reanimate this card. Bazaar gets a lot better in the instant speed discard because you can't set it up. You have to discard and then immediately reanimate, right? So it just being like a free reanimation thing, like it could let us turn 3 in Emrakul, right? Whereas, say, if you were going to collect a Brutality, then the earliest you could Emrakul is turn 4. Yeah, Hasty Annihilating is great and brutal, but it is very clunky and takes some setup. Wouldn't mind a Dark Ritual to up the speed. And we really need some more fixing in here if we're going to have a chance of casting the Mana Drain. I would not put much into hard casting 13 mana Emrakul in this deck, even though we have a lot of cards going to the graveyard. Because we have a lot of inevitability in our late game anyway, with Scarab God being in here. You only need so many cards like that. So Grief is obviously a good Reanimator card. Grief the opponent, animate dead it. I think Frantic Search is actually more important to what we're doing. If you want the instant speed Emrakul. Oh, if we reanimate Grizzlebrand though. If you reanimate Grizzlebrand, it's nice to have free interaction to draw into. Yeah, the Frantic Search is better with Emrakul, and the Grief is better with Grizzlebrand. Too bad I can't self-target with the Grief. Or it'd be great with both of them. And then there's a Flooded Strain too. Jeez. Yeah, I'm going to take the Frantic Search. Alright. Well, this is a fun little tune. Thinking about that Lotus Petal. Thinking about Night's Whisper. Yeah, let's grab Petal. You can't really count on either of those cards wheeling 406 lol. Too many decks want them. It should not be tipping you. It should be what your deck needs more. The Urborg is actually very sexy with Bazaar. And it's fixing. We're going to take the Demonic Tutor, but I do have that Urborg wheels. Primus is not the best reanimation spell, but it's not the worst either. You could also take Daze or Fatal Push here. We're a little light on that early game interaction. Deck's a little slow. Which is fine, but it gives us incentive to play more removal, slow the opponent down. Hey, Dark Ritual. That's very sexy. Exhum's an idea. Spell Pierce and Narset are both great. Burial Rites works really well with Gifts Ungiven, but we don't have the white mana in here, We never got the white mana. I'll grab it, but I just don't think it's going to work out. Hey, Spawn, these are the $5. Vista, nice. Is Bazaar a good lane in this kind of decks? I like Bazaar in instant speed Reanimator, but it is very clunky. I mean, it's not tapping for mana, right? I explained it earlier. Ooh, the Grief Wield. That's fucking sick. I talked a bit about it earlier. But if you need to play the corpse, like the Emrakul Shuffle goes on the stack, you can just let an Emrakul chill in your graveyard. So a lot of discard outlets are very clunky with it, right? If you're going to spend 3 mana on a Pack Rat, you can't just leave the Emrakul for next turn and then untap and play your Reanimation effect. So a card like Bazaar Baghdad being free Means that it can actually be more efficient with Emrakul than a lot of your other discard outlets. Whereas normally you're spending a mana, like you're spending a land drop. Let's grab Glenn for the sideboard. The Urborg Wield, love it, love it. Normally with Bazaar, you're spending a land drop, so you're actually slowing your deck down. So I like it a lot more in Instant Speed Reanimator than regular Reanimator. All right. Spawn says, my medication do be hitting, and the song made me think of you, so I have more of my money. That's a fun album cover. I'm already honored. This is The Sorcerer. Oh, by Corey Wong. I fucking love Corey Wong. So I'm just going to run a regular number. Normally you would count Bazaar as a spell, not a land. But we also have Lotus Petal and Dark Ritual here, helping us out a bit. So I'm just going to do a regular 17 lane count. Yeah, the Woodfall Primus would have been good. This is like one more thing to reanimate. Maybe I'll cut Dam, huh? Oh, that's a drop, huh? I was not expecting that. You don't know who Corey Wong is? He's like a funky type jazzy guitarist. He's done some collaborations with Wolfpack, which is where I ran into him. And then he was touring with Victor Wooten recently. Really sad I missed that tour. So just like an exceptional musician. Yeah, not really enough blue sources, huh? This mana drain might be stretching it. I wonder if the dam is just better. And then I don't have to worry about double blue ever. Or maybe Mesmeric Fiend. An entire album of instrumental Philharmonic funk. I'm interested to see how this deck plays out, Oh no, a Savage Pig. So we kind of hope our opponents just play creatures here. God damn, that was a good salad. I don't know if I should grief now or wait a turn, huh? I should probably wait until the turn that I'm actually going to combo. Love it, Mox Opal, yep. We haven't seen blue out of the opponent yet. I might just Emrakul them and save the grief to hardcast. Makes sense to me. And this might be premature, this Emrakul. It's exciting to do it on turn 3, but we could also wait and get a few more permanents, So they can Season Pyromancer next turn and block me and not fucking die. They are down to 2, however. So the Sundering Titan's a little too tempting. It's a little more tempting than it should be. I'm just going to reanimate that Grief again. I think that's going to be likely good. It's got Menace. I get to take a card out of their hand. All good stuff, right? Yay. Smells like GG. Having a way to end the game seems nice, especially the game that came back from being Emrakul today. Oh, yeah, keeping the Grief, not pitch casting it. Yeah. Ended up being really important, right? I think the opponent's playing a Goblin Welder type deck. And I almost want to play Lord Skitter just to chew on their graveyard a bit. But I guess we already have a little bit of that going on, huh? With our Animate Dead and Necromancy hitting their things. Yeah, let's just give this the old submit. Let's do that again, huh? That was fucking great. You could Vamp Tutor for a discard outlet. You could also just draw and discard the Grizzlebrand. Both lines work for the turn 2 Grizzle. I guess I'm just grabbing Bizarre Hum. Wonder if this Damnation ends up being useful versus those Urza Sagas. I'm probably overthinking it. Kind of looks like we're gonna Emrakul them next turn, doesn't it? We could have reanimated Demi. Yeah, but then the Necromancy would fall off at end of turn spawn. Cool. Facing one Waka Flocka. Mulliganing versus one Waka Flocka. How about this hand, huh? I think I'm actually going to keep this hand and bin the Bazaar. And just play like a normal control game. Just the stone opposite of our previous matches. This is definitely too much information, y'all, but I just had a really pleasant poop. I'm so excited about it. Last week I had huge digestion issues. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital and stuff. And I'm like 3 days in of just... It's good. Life is good, friends. Life is good. Thanks for the congrats, yeah. I'm usually a little torn on whether to run out Moxen. Because it gives the opponent something to blow up if they're playing Artifact Destruction. Most people don't point removal at Lotus Petals, though. The benefit of running it out is if the opponent plays a draw 7 or a discard spell or something, then it's safe. Important to be proud of one's accomplishments. It really is, yeah. They're looking to reanimate a Magma Opus. Uh-oh. They have an answer. Manager. That's a pretty good answer. You ever just cast a fucking Eldrazi off a Mana Drain? That's a good feeling. I should board my own gifts ungiven. All right, now you do it. Excuse me. At least their Magma Opus is in the bin. Oh, so they can't just cast it? Yeah, that'd be funny. Something that was kind of hilarious in Modern for a bit was the white leyline interfering with gifts ungiven. You can cast it because you couldn't target your opponent if they had a white leyline out. I played the gifts ungiven Reanimator deck for a bit, and that was miserable. Jesus Christ. Looks like Yawgmoth's will to me, huh? You can give them the Time Walk and the Recall instead of the mana, but then, like, they just cast the Time Walk and the Recall. And the Yawg will's still good the next turn. We cracking the LED. There's an Echo the Eons in there, too. Kind of an annoying card for Reanimator to have to face. A fucked up Storm deck. If they are indeed Storm, might just be a good Yogg's Will deck. Alright, definitely Storm. The Desperate Ritual clinches it. So the Time Walk's exiled. The Recall's exiled. If they flashback Echo and Brick, at least they've stripped all the power out of their deck, huh? Not forgetting their land drop, sure. I wonder if they don't Echo, if they just like cast the Magma Opus. That's a line, right? Just draw 2, make a 4/4. Oh no, they're echoing. Storm count of 11. They didn't exile any lands from their deck, though. They exiled, like, Rituals, Recall, Time Walk, Echo. So there's a reasonable chance their fresh 7 is mana heavy. Oh, no, they have Dark Petition. They're probably good. Tendrils for the win. Tendrils or Empty the Warrens win here because of the Time Walk, right? The Time Walk can effectively give the Empty Warrens tokens haste. Brain Freeze. That is not lethal. Very glad I didn't draw the Emrakul here. Gifts exiles their Storm payoffs. A Baby Panda. Part of Yawgmoth's will is any card that goes to the graveyard gets exiled that turn. Wow, they didn't hit the Emrakul. That's funny. Need duels? I very much do, yeah. Yeah, my fixing is terrible. Yeah, exactly, Baby Panda. Yeah, so the Gifts Ungiven, we just put the kill conditions in the graveyard, and they get exiled. You like the upkeep Foff? I was thinking about it. I think if I draw Emrakul, I can just go to discard, though, right? Hell yeah, Author Me Torn. Sounds dope. Glad you had a good hike. I wonder if there's something I should be detutoring for here that just wins, but I think I like the Foff plan better. A little surprised Tar Pit's not serving. Do hikes in America have a grading system? I'm not sure. Usually when you like read the description of the area, they'll say whether it's like easy or hard or what have you. I don't think there's like a hard grading system with like letters or numbers or anything. Instead it'll be like, yeah, this one's pretty tough because there's rugged terrain and you go vertical for a while, or Yep, that's a good split. Interesting. Guessing again, huh? I expect this one's going to be a little bit less exciting than the last one, but we'll see. I wonder why they wanted the mocks. It might just like literally be their last thing. Yep. Put it in the old tankaroo. Yeah, maybe they just needed the gifts to build Storm. Might have a Tendrils or an Empty or something. A lot of mana being tapped over there. Hardcast Cruel Ultimatum. So I'm losing 5 life, going to 9. And they attack me for 3 down to 6. Kind of brutal. Now, where's my brain freeze? Fair enough. Glen Lynch is really good if you can resolve it, right? I'm considering the mana drain, but then I have to add like a lot more blue sources. We're at like 7 right now. I'd have to add like 2 more blue sources. Kind of gunks up the rest of my deck. Maybe that's fine. Just draw the Urborg. Has as many swamps as you need. I like that Fatal Push hits the Creeping Tar Pit. I'm a little bit worried about dying to that card. Are we drafting hot singles? We are. Hot singles in your area. All up in your area. I like it. Vendetta as a removal spell. They've got several early game creatures that we need to kill, right? Hits both the red critters that we saw. And does it at instant speed, which is kind of nice against the Storm opponent. Thinking this Rite of Flame's the grab. Makes their hand look a lot slower, huh? Then we have a blisteringly fast Glenelendra versus our spell-based opponent. Feels pretty good. Might as well cast the Narset. You gotta sometime. Hell yeah, Invar. They get to resolve their LED. How do I feel about that Time Walk? I kind of like getting the Cruel Ultimatum underneath Mesmeric Fiend. But maybe it should be the Time Walk or the Gifts Ungiven here. Yeah, I'd love to see how a better player would have played this game. The Mesmeric Fiend trigger being the most interesting. I took the gifts because they could respond to Impulse at end of turn. They could, like, resolve it pretty easy. We're just going to let Time Walk resolve. What would they tank on here? Whether to Mana Drain and Impulse? If they had an instant speed removal spell, they could have a really complicated play where they kill the Mesmeric Fiend and with the trigger on the stack, crack the LED, and then cast the Gifts Ungiven. Probably not great, though. If I'd seen an island, I would have been tempted by that, so I could play the Foff and still have the Glen up. Shallowgrave's fucking hilarious with Glen, right? Yeah, we did go up to 9 blue sources, if I submitted correctly. Would not mind drawing some more. Well, I guess I just do this now. That game played a lot better, huh? Hey, thanks, Swamp Batman. Glad you're enjoying the streams. Got a real interesting matchup here. My opponent's deck is kind of busted. It's got Recall and Time Walk and Yogg's Will to flash it all back, and a bunch of tutors and Gifts Ungiven to fill up the graveyard. But we're playing a deck that's got some nice interaction. So hopefully we can keep slowing them down such that we get a chance to win. That game was perfect, right? We got to get a turn 3 Glenelendra up by discarding it to Collective Brutality and then exhuming it on turn 3. And that was really good against them. Let's see if we can do that again, Or have like a blisteringly fast Emrakul. That'd be nice. In our first match today, we turned 3 Emrakul somebody, and that was quite a good. Grief Animate Dead would be a sick fucking opener. This matchup. Chill vibes with this tune. Still waiting my opponent. Oh, shoot, what up? Hey, Tux11, thanks the sub, thanks the 2 months there. Are we winning? We're fucking trying. You got a conundrum. Amazon sent you the same packet twice. Should you mark it incorrect and don't get a refund? Or refund making up an excuse? That's a you question, not a me question. I'm almost certain they don't have Empty the War in Scotty. We saw like almost their whole deck in game 1. So we have the turn 2 Glen, but we don't have a blue up. I think they're going to turn 3 Magma Opus on the play. That would get me pretty well. They do. Alright. So we left in a couple of removal spells for this 4-form. And we can reanimate the Glen over and over and over again, but we do need to actually draw said removal spells to not die to the opposing 4-form. I guess Glen could chomp, huh? It's not crazy. I kind of want to hold on to Collective Brutality as a discard outlet. That's pretty big. Yeah, if they played an important spell, I would have Shallow Grave the Glen and then sacked and just been in the same spot. And then I could untap. And they didn't, so I could untap and animate Dead the Glen if I wanted. But I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to make a Scarab God here. Yeah, Green Lung rules. Ah, they had Tendrils Hum. Interesting the Brain Freeze is still in. Maybe it's to self-target. Jesus Christ, If you take gifts, I think they just play their tutor and go find Yogg's Will and win. I think you have to take the Dark Ritual there. I hope they don't have the mana to win here. Hey, Atreyu, thanks for the $5. This is a sick match regardless. You're right, it is a gas station. Wonder what they just drew, They are playing Storm, but this is also a 10-minute time discrepancy. Depending on how their turn goes, an island might be my best rip here. Bergie being a 3-3, yeah, I am. Damn. Didn't I go up to 9 islands? Last game we were tied up on blue mana too. Rite of Flame, nice. I assume the Dark Petition can win from here. Because they'll get the 3 black mana, and then they can play Yogg's Will, Dark Ritual, Rite of Flame, and then, Actually, yeah, can they self-Brain Freeze before the Yogg's Will? I think they can. I think that's a good line. Just fill up their graveyard. Bring black the Glen on upkeep to scry. No, well, that would use my blue mana, D. Paulson. You're talking about activating the Scarab God, so I would get a scry. That would use the blue mana. The reason Island would be the best draw was because then I would have another Glen sacrifice on this turn, you see? Like, if this swamp was an island, I would have been able to counter this Dark Petition. Would have had it covered. But if I activate the Scarab God, that uses my blue mana when I need more blue mana. So it would not have been helpful. Alright, Atreyu's got a Sovereign Quest. I have to use it anyway. The blue mana. I used the blue mana to sacrifice. So I think you missed how I got this Glenelendra into play. I used Corpse Dance to rebuy it. So I tapped 3 black mana to play to get the Glenelendra out, and that left the blue open to sacrifice. So you're wrong. You don't have to use it anyway, because that's literally not what I did. Anyway, here's the Atreyu KSE Sovereign Quest. I think it's the $5 Atreyu. Hey, thanks, Naughty21. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The draw 7 there is interesting. I think they had the win just with self-brain freeze, Yogg's Will. But they might have the win here anyway. Narset just found Tendrils. Seems pretty GG. Just racking the storm count up. Well, I'm just happy we had like an interesting match here, and the opponent's deck's fucking nuts. Yeah, plenty of storm there. GG's. Yeah, I think we get to win if we draw a second blue source. I thought I boarded up to 9 blue. I mean, I probably did, and just like didn't get there. Well, it seems like I should be able to do something, right? With a Vamp Tutor and a Corpse Dance. Maybe just Tutor for Bazaar and hope he gets you there. We can also chill for a bit and draw a few more cards. Corpse Dance costs 3 mana anyway, so. Oh, you're responding to my title. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, Grief's interesting. Could vamp for Ritual to play the Grief next turn. It doesn't seem that urgent, though, does it? My opponent's not applying pressure. Sure. I think I'm gonna vamp for Emrakul and just assume that I can discard it at some point. Maybe the Grizzlebrand's safer. Emrakul's so sweet, though. I can't say no to Emmy. I've been dazed. You finally got your modern deck put together for the RCQ today. Nice. What's your modern deck? Play anything sweet? I think there's a lot of like really cool looking decks in modern right now. And then when you actually like play the format, it's like, well, this is fucking miserable. But maybe I just had a bad day or two. Who knows? Domain Boros. So you're playing like the ley line, and then also like Ocelot Pride. Hell yeah, Waka Flocka. It was a sick match. I needed one more blue source in that third game, and I just like couldn't get one. I felt very clever for Shallow Grave in the Glen. I thought you played just fine, aside from potentially a miss with the turn that you tutored for the Spiral. I was wondering if you considered tutoring for Yogg's Will and then just brain freezing yourself. I don't know if it's like an actual miss or not, but it seemed like that would have won, and then you wouldn't have had to like depend on your time Spiral hand. I think that's the only thing I would have considered doing differently. Am I jumping on the Bazaar? Maybe Chew. Maybe at some point. Wow, they're pitching miscalc. Interesting. Do I like this pack rat? It's sort of a discard outlet for Emrakul, but I would need one more mana, right? It's so expensive. I think I'm going to bottom it. Oh, you could have Tendrils game one. I think that's like a judgment call though. I don't think there's anything wrong with going for Brain Freeze instead for like the reasons you stated. It was just funny that it happened to be Instant Speed Reanimator. I'll attempt this. I was hoping to get them by like tapping out for Splinter Twin this turn, but this is a Cryptic counter. Sure. It was wild that the Brain Freeze didn't actually hit the Emrakul. I had to like bid it myself after all that. So during their draw step, I'm going to cast this with buyback. And hopefully that'll prevent me from getting twinned for another turn here. I am regretting tutoring up the Emrakul instead of Grizzlebrand. But it was nice to not die to twin here. Ooh, look at 19-minute long track. Let's let's mosey on down. We can remove that stop now from the draw, The Dak Faden Emblem. If they steal my Emrakul, I'm going to be so mad. Down, down, down. All right, all right. Sure. Dak Faden is spell, right? I don't think this ability steals anything. Oh, Emmy can't get stolen. You're right, you're right. Because they can't target Emmy with the spell. Let's see if I regret running out that Lotus Petal, I did it in case of Mana Leak, but feels silly now, They have a snap counter. Interesting that the Fact of Fiction resolve. How much damage do they have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm at 10. Well, they certainly deck before I do. I don't think it's going to come to that. Looted away a Council's Judgment. Yeah, Reanimating Venture doesn't seem great. Bounce the Bazaar, get another activation. Kind of need my own Brain Freeze in here. I've seen a few people play that Mentor, the Prowess Critter. Maybe padding the blue count for Force of Will and such. Damn. Alright, you win. Well... I'm going to play my Necromancy as a sorcery, and then I'm going to respond by activating Bazaar. And then if it hits Grizzlebrand, I could have a Grizzlebrand. And maybe that could win. They have another counter. Ephemerate Snapcaster for the counter. Nice. Oh, there's a shitload of counters over there. Would I have found the Grizzlebrand? I would not have. Seemed unlikely, right? 1 in 15. So, this is another matchup where Glenelendra is going to come in. Damnation's going to stay in this time. I'm going to cut some removal. I like the Vendetta. I like the Fatal Push. Glenn's coming in. And I like the idea of Mesmeric Fiend. And I think I'm going to warp my mana base for Mana Drain again. Gotta cut something here. Actually, I haven't drawn Frantic Search yet. Fast No Head. Things to $5. You want to hear Cherry Pie by Jeff of the Brotherhood? The last track is a real slow one, so I didn't mind cutting it out a little early. What's my last cut, hum? Oh, maybe Massacre Worm. Maybe it's just not that good in this. They had a lot of X3s and X4s. I think I'm probably supposed to lead on the island, actually, in case I want to hold up Drain on 2. There's, like, no universe where I do that, though, right? I'm just always going to Fiend. Ooh, a little bit of Flautistry. I'm into that. Is this the best song of all time? I like grabbing Counterspell. I also like grabbing Pestermite. I think I can chill on the Collective Brutality until it's an actual discard outlet, right? I have 2 reanimation effects. Ooh, hello. Is there a reason a card says you may cast it as though it had flash instead of just having flash? For Necromancy? I don't know. I think if it actually has flash... Yeah, I don't know. That card's just fucked. You could just give it flash and then say if you cast it using flash. Oh, the flautist is the guy from Jethro Tull? Hell yeah. Does not surprise me even a little bit. So we only know 2 of their 5 cards here. Yeah, managing the counterspell, totally reasonable. I think not is also reasonable. At this point, I want to start sandbagging lands probably for the Frantic Search. Well, I probably want one more Black Source for Grief Hardcasts and the like. We could Necromancy the Resto. Blink our Fiend. Oh, shit, what up? Hey, Dirty D, the Thunder Chief, stings the 59 months. Yeah, I'll save this one. So much cube. The appropriate amount. I'll pay the 2. I guess I'm playing this. Leaving them with the twin leaves Deceiver Exarch as an out. There's something to take in the Splitting Twin, but if they get the Pestermite down, and the Pestermite also hinders my beats. If the Pestermite comes down, then like when they kill my Mesmeric Fiend, it's like much cheaper for them to combo. Because it's already there, it's already in play, right? I think I'm going to take the Pestermite again. They're just often. Interesting. Yeah, we have the build of the deck that's like better against aggro with all the removal in the main deck. Then we got the build that's more reactive. That version certainly has been better against these combo opponents. We're in no rush over here. No red sources for the opponent yet. Ooh, hello. Yeah, griefing the opponent, pitching Damnation to clear the way for Fact or Fiction. Totally reasonable. They're just jamming a Subtlety. One issue with Fact or Fiction here is that I would end up discarding. Maybe Mana Drain's good. Let's just fucking Mana Drain it. And then we can hardcast Grief and hardcast Fact or Fiction on our next turn. That's probably dope, right? And the islands are underground seas because of the Urborg, so they're just always going to be a better land drop than Swamp at this point. Cast it again, why not? Is that a Force of Will? They're Force Willing the Grief? They could have hard cast Force of Will the first time. I guess that would open up the Fact of Fiction to resolving. Pitch stack over there too. But I guess they don't have any red mana. Brawl resolves. Just gonna resolve this shit while I can, before they draw more counters. Nice, very cool. All right. So I have to get up at 5 in the morning tomorrow. But 8 p.m. feels early even for that to cut out. I think